How's it all? Shop. Hope you're well. Today, gonna look at a Benchmade Bugout, which I'd run on Zach stuff. I have been using it already and playing with it and breaking it in. Please just ignore the thumb. It's hit up quite nicely. I kind of cut it through with an angle grinder, but it's healed up, and I'm trying to keep it out now to dry up. But let's get back onto the Benchmade. Benchmade Bugout, I've never really found the need or the interest to buy one just because of their prices. So that's the elephant in the room is the price of this when you can compare it with other stuff, which I will do at the end of the video. But in saying that, it's smooth, it's got a nice action. I like it, but I don't like it. I can understand it though. For what they're trying to do, I do understand it. I just don't understand that price. It is, like I said, an elephant in the room, the price of them. But for what, so that's my only downfall so far with it. And obviously the handle materials, but we'll get into all of that. So let's have a look. Put it back in this little sock. There's something else in this box which I'm going to pull out at the end because we're going to be addressing some of my negatives that I feel towards this knife. Yeah, there it is. Sorry, I'm a little bit. Oh, okay, cool. I can still get the thumb flick out at the moment. It's a nice size for, like I said, what they're trying to do with it. Obviously, being a Bugout, they're trying to make it that it can fit out into your Bugout pack. So it's light. It's a nice small size to carry. I wouldn't use it as necessarily my only Bugout knife, but I do feel it's a nice light knife for a emergency, just to keep in the backpack, to keep the backpack light. Normally you would be carrying other knives with you, especially in that sort of situation, but you might lose one of those knives, you might not be able to get one of those knives, and at least you know you've got something light in the backpack. It's got the liner lock, sorry, not liner lock, the crossbar lock, very smooth. Now, I have heard of people breaking springs in that. Obviously I might just be too new with the knife, so I haven't had that issue. But one thing I can see how they could break springs is if they try and just do one side, and you're putting all the pressure on the one spring and not the other. So that's my feeling how that spring will break. But if you use both, I feel yes, it works quite smoothly and quite nicely. Don't like this, that it's flexible, but that's more a feeling thing. I don't think in your hand, if you're busy using it, that it's going to break like that. It's more just a comfort thing why I don't enjoy that, but I don't think it will affect it too much. Sure, if you had to take one end and the other end and physically bend it and that, you more than likely are going to break it, and there have been videos of people breaking them. But if it's in your hand, that bit's supported in that, so I can see that it will work out. Let's just check here on the box if they give you any specs. I haven't even looked at that. Okay, all they say is just blue class 535 TNT 10 Bugout. So there are no specs on the box. They have got the Benchmade Life Sharp warranty. I don't know if there's any Benchmade dealers here that will sharpen it in South Africa for it. So I'm guessing I'd have to send it over to the States for them to sharpen. I need to do my research. Like I said, it was a giveaway on Zach stuff. So I picked 124 and the winning number was 129. And just my luck that day, I was the closest without going over. Yeah, take that off. Now I'm not going to open this yet, because afterwards I'll show you. Blade steel is S30V, so it's a good premium blade steel. Keeps a good edge. Came out the extremely sharp. If I had a piece of paper by me, I'd cut it right now, but I don't. So it did take a little bit of breaking in. What I found was if I flicked it hard, the crossbar would lock quite hard in there, but that seems to have sorted itself out now by playing with it. So like anything, you've got to wear it and get it comfortable. And I'm actually quite surprised I've been able to flex that much with my thumb. I've felt quite disabled in a way without having to be able to use my thumb and play around with my knives. Reverse flick, do it. My big hands, better to hang on to it. So the thumb flick would definitely be my way of going. You can see I've got my finger over there. Yeah, with my big hands I do better to I have played around and gone through all my fingers while I'm driving in traffic, but I'm not getting it right today. So move this out the way. Some knives that I think is this knives competition that I have got, and I can compare them to it because I've got them. The Cold Steel Verdict. I love this knife. This knife's with me every day in my EDC patch. This knife sits right there with a pry bar and a pen. So this knife's with me every day. And then also my Bastide Parallel, which I've actually given the Parallel to my son for the fact that very narrow. It's not comfortable in my hands, but it's a good solid knife. The Bastide Verdict, that's a bit better for me. Slightly wider than the narrow. So let's move the narrow one side. And let's just compare the two. One thing I've learned about the Verdict, don't put your fingers down the bottom when you close it because it's going to cut you. So they've actually best to put your finger there. It hits on there and you don't cut yourself. But let's compare the two together. Length of the handles, they're about the same. I'd say the Verdict's wider on the handle, which that could be why it's a bit more comfortable for me. Together. Okay, so the Verdict is slightly thinner, but like ever so slightly. Blade size, strangely enough, let's have a look at this. No, they're very similar. The Benchmade has got a slight advantage on the blade size. But to me, this feels just so much better in the hand. It's more comfortable than this. And there's a couple of things. It's my size 4XL hands wrapping around it, which will make it uncomfortable for me. Where if you look here, I'm holding it there. on the verdict. I've just got a little bit more room with that. So, but like I say, we've got a plan. Right away. Now getting to that plan. When I won this knife, my good friend Chris, Warroom EDC, said to me, Gareth, I don't think that that's your sort of knife. I had it sent to him before so that I could use a US address. And me and Chris have very similar tastes. So I said, well, let's send it to me. I'll do a video on it. And he wanted to trade me for it. For something quite a bit more expensive, to be honest. But I thought that was going to be the plan. And I was a little uncomfortable with it because what he was trading me was going to be quite a bit more expensive. But then he messaged me and said to me, hold off on that plan. They've got another idea for something. And he wouldn't tell me more than that. So I organized for the knife to be picked up from him. Got delivered here in South Africa. And the knife was in the box. And in that other box were these. I saw the pocket clip. I thought, oh, that pocket clip looks nice. So what else is here? So I found a pocket clip. I found these wrapped up. And I thought, why is Chris sending me another knife? With some extra hardware. To discover that between Chris and our good friend Jimmie Crow, Uncle Jimmie as I call him, they had put some titanium handles in for my Benchmade. And a titanium pocket clip, which maybe I should get out the packet in case there's any glare. So, yes, Chris was right. This handle and that I don't like. I'm not a big fan of the glass fiber. That, the plastic glass reinforced, I forgot the name of it right now. I'm not a big fan of that. But though it's not going to make it any wider or anything like that, I think it's just going to add a bit more speciality to this knife in fitting these. So let me give you a little bit of a close-up on these. There you can see with the light, it's got titanium lightning anode. And I do think that's going to improve the knife. As a lot of you are aware, to me, a Grail knife has got a story behind it. It doesn't have to be the most expensive knife. It doesn't have to be anything real special. But if a knife's got a story, it's important to me. And Chris understood that. That was why he said I should keep this knife, for the fact that it comes from Zach stuff. And that's yes, I won it in a giveaway, but still, it still means a lot to me that it came from him. And Chris understands that. And so does Uncle Jimmie, Jimmie Crow. And that's why they put these handles in the pocket clip in, just to make it more my knife. And now it's even more special to me and even has even more of a story. So I don't know if I'm going to film it, because there are plenty of videos out there of people filming with the bugouts and changing stuff over. But I will show you how it looks afterwards. Maybe not in this video, because I do have to do my 200 entry video up next to win a Jimmie Crow special. Uncle Jimmie was kind enough to say to me, Gareth, I've got enough for you for your next giveaway. Just to give you a bit of a thing with what Uncle Jimmie does. There's a QSP that he's dyed the handles, done a stonewash finish on it. It's run. Actually got asked this morning, do I have any Jimmie Crows by old Ralph? I think I do. Here's a Civivi. Jimmie's acid watched the blade, and he's dyed the handles. Joke around, and I said, whenever I see somebody with a green Jimmie Crow, he's joined the green club. Because there's a couple of us with the green ones, and that's the special club. I've called it that. No one else. So, and then I saw another one from Jimmie Crow. So yeah, that's just to give you an idea of the work Uncle Jimmie does. And he's been kind enough to sponsor me with a knife for my 200 giveaway. I can't close this right now with my thumb. So let's put it one side. That's it. Sharp. Just give a quick update on my Benchmade Bugout. Now that I've changed the scales over. Let's zoom in a bit. There we go. So this is with the titanium lightning anode from Jimmie Crow, and it has completely transformed this knife. It's big. Sorry, I am still battling with my thumb. There we are. It really has changed the way I feel about this knife. The scales are slightly wider than the original ones, but it's definitely changed the feel of the knife, that it's actually comfortable now in my hand. Pocket clip, a little bit of a hot spot, but it is quite a bit bigger, this pocket clip. Deep carry pocket clip, but it's definitely changed my feelings on this knife to me carrying it, and that I've been wanting to carry it a lot more. Doesn't change the price, my feelings on the price, but definitely a lot better now without the flex, with it being slightly wider. I must say, Uncle Jimmie, Chris, you guys were right. It's a lot better. So my suggestion is, if you are going to get a Bugout and you can change for those titanium scales, speak to Jimmie Crow. He can point you in the right direction. You can see the lovely work on that. Oh, I love these scales, but it's definitely made it more kind of my knife. So yeah, thanks for watching. Sharp, keep well, keep safe. So like,
subscribe,
leave a comment, and thanks for watching.